the potential 3, 4, 5 steps down the path very
Got
easily.
it.
And so I can make a decision very quickly because I've already probably been thinking about 5 different other ways, and make the decision. And I have a bigger sense of calmness now that I didn't have before, and bigger sense of I will get through this. I may not like the outcome of it, but I'll still get through it to the other side.
But she would not roll over. Yeah, exactly.
No, she kept
Great.
going no matter what.
That's
What
right.
punches were literally thrown at her.
That was Demi, right? Demi Moore?
Yes,
Yeah.
Demi Moore.
Yep. Okay.
Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
I was saying, okay.
All right. Welcome to Checkmate Podcast. How are you doing, Dr. Brian Kent?
I'm doing fantastic today. Ken, how are you doing?
Well, this project is invigorating. It's certainly bringing a whole new interest to what strategy is and the strategy of actually meeting strategic partners. So you have met someone recently, and I'd like to yield to let you introduce her.
Yeah, absolutely. About 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, Beth and I were actually on a plane flying across the U.S. and got into a conversation. And definitely the task that she has at hand in her professional life was very intriguing, and I thought worth having a little discussion as strategy goes, as she's looking at compliance across the business industry for the government and for private clients. And of course, as we're doing Checkmate and looking at 52 strategists in different industries, felt Beth will be a great addition to the team to come on and do a podcast with you and I, Ken. And really, Beth, I'm proud to have you today, and look forward to the next few minutes with you, just as we talk about what makes Beth tick, both little business and personal.
So since the audience may not, there's a lot of people that are watching, they may not know you. So share a little bit of a background of who you are, how you created who you are. And I think the big question a lot of people have is, how does Beth have the greatest day every day? I think everyone wants to know that too.
Absolutely. So I'm currently a COO in a MSSP and compliance organization. I've been in the federal government contracting space prior to coming here to R3 for almost 30 years. And initially back in the day, I think this is really important because it made me who I am today, which was when I had a child at that point. I was a single mom, and I had a 10-month-old at the time, just getting started in my career. And we were homeless. We were homeless for about a year. Of that, I was going to school part-time. I was working full-time and taking care of my son, and had a lot of challenges from that, and pushing through and driving through to who I am today. And that's who I am. That's where I've come. And working in the industry from a compliance perspective, an IT perspective, cybersecurity, and managing all things business and process. It's been an interesting road.
Well, I mean, to be homeless and to be in the position you're in right now, did you see that? How did you actually say, there's hope, there's drive, I'm doing this thing? I mean, did you see that pathway?
In the moment when you're going through challenges and obstacles and adversity, you can get very overwhelmed, and it can be devastating to many. And one of the things I've always believed is that every time I've gotten knocked down, I've gotten back up eight more times, and just to keep going forward. And I've had a lot of problems and issues that I've had to overcome. And being a single mom, there was nobody else to help me out. I just had to figure it out and keep going forward. Unfortunately, I was never able to finish college, and I still have become who I am today despite that. And about 8 years ago, I was actually diagnosed with, excuse me, stage 4 neuroendocrine cancer. So I have, excuse me, I have a devastating disease that, looking back and reflecting on my life, at some point I had a woe is me moment, and wondered, why are all these things happening to me? And it wasn't until about a year after my diagnosis when I started my Facebook. I have a blog about living with cancer and positively being still positive in what I'm doing and keep pushing through. I realized that I have a voice, and I have the voice for others to be able to be strong and to show that no matter what your adversity is, no matter what your problems are, you can still overcome those things, or at least get through them. And so what I have learned is that the more things that I'm afraid to do, the less afraid I become. and that I have had successes in the problems, whether that be in the professional or personal world. Everybody has those problems, but I've gotten on the other side of them. I've been successful. I've proven my success for the past issues and problems. And so that means I can do it again. And so that becomes resiliency. And so that's the answer to that.
Well,
Go, Ken.
I'll just say that with that story, how long ago was it that you were homeless?
It's been about 28 years.
So your son or daughter? Son?
Son. Yes.
So
I had son.
I can only imagine that he has been equipped with a mother who has taught that resilience, but also taught the humility and the humbleness that one would have to give someone a chance and to be there for people that are challenged or struggling. I would want to be associated with someone that has gone the distance and have them in my company, because they know how to maneuver, but they also have a way of probably pulling out the best out of people because they get what challenges look like. So I just want to applaud you on that one.
Thank you. Thank you. And it allows me to also sit in their shoes and have some
Empathy.
kindness and empathy. Sometimes I forget to have grace and kindness for myself, but I give that in abundance to other people. And I think too that just, going through those adverse things is, you have to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Have to be decisive, because no matter what, you're going to have to get through whatever those things are. And, I'm blessed with two children and now a grandchild. And my second one is probably got more of the humility, because I started, I lessons learned from the oldest one and the challenges. But yeah, they're good kids, both of my boys.
Brian?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you say make a decision, one of the things that I always say is you have to make a decision, because if you don't make one, you still made one.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
So I guess we'll jump right in now. Let's just talk about one of the key strategies that you use as you're looking at these diverse problems in the day-to-day business world.
Yeah.
And how do you navigate them?
I always think in terms of risk. I am a risk-based thinker through and through. So when somebody comes to me with a problem or there's a challenge, I'm always thinking about, what are the potential impacts? What are the ABC things that could go wrong? And sometimes that comes across to folks as maybe I'm being negative, or maybe I'm being, I don't know, at my level, maybe micromanaging. I'm not sure, but I am always thinking of things in terms of risk. And I'm also a visual person. So when someone tells me a problem, I'm laying and mapping that out in my brain. So I want to understand where it potentially came from. I want to understand the data points, because data-driven decision making will enable us to be much more effective, or at least closer to where we need to get to be able to have a successful path forward with minimal impact. So risk-based thinking is through and through, and understanding what the problems are, understanding who's involved in what, who, what, when, where, how, why, to make the best possible decision in the moment with the information that you have at that time and the knowledge from the players that are involved. So it's also being able to collaborate with different team members and different folks with expertise, and to help arm you with that knowledge to be able to make as informed a decision as possible.
Absolutely.
Can you restate that in a concise, as if we were going to put it, you did great. You did great. In a concise, as if it was going to go on a playing card as Bob Boom. How would you say that business wise?
All of that, or just
the part that you'd want to show on a playing card?
Yeah. So I look at problems. ITIL has and I'm probably going to blow this too, Ken. ITIL has a concept called DIKW, data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. And I live by that. I look at the data, I put the context or understand the context around that data to be able, and then pull in the right people and the players with the knowledge, all of that to help make wise decisions. DIKW.
That's perfect.
I like that.
Yeah, because we can take that and it's going to mimic and expand obviously in your chapter. So that's perfect.
All right.
I have a
Absolutely.
twofold. Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
No, I was going to go and jump in a little bit there, just at the very end of that. Kind of, I think, kind of the question you're going to. So, Beth, so data-driven risk manager, really focused. How do you know when to make that jump, though, to move into operations?
How do I know when to like pull the decision and go?
Well, because you hear people talk about leaders and strategists or decision makers sometimes hold on to the decision too long before they're really, because in the an old saying we had in the military was 10% plan, 90% execution. So as you're looking at that strategy, how do you know when to kind of release the team with that knowledge to move out, I guess?
So for me personally, I know that I have this need to just understand the problem, and that it can be a 1 hour, 30-minute conversation. I'm very fast thinker inside, so I grasp concepts very quickly. And I'm, like I said, I'm able to visualize and map the potential 3, 4, 5 steps down the path very easily. And so I can make a decision very quickly because I've already probably been thinking about 5 different other ways, and make the decision. And I say, and then I ask questions back of the team to also see if they understand and have realized the business impacts of whatever needs to happen. And if I feel like they have enough, again, 30-minute, hour conversation max, and then go ahead and go forward. Keep me posted what's happening. If you have any risks or issues that come along the way, let me know. Can I block or can I unblock your blockers? Keep me updated. Let's go forward. And then if we have to replan, fine. I do believe in planning, PDCA, Deming, plan, do, check, act. I do believe in that. And that goes again to that quantitative risk-based thinking as well. We do need to have a little bit of planning up front. So if from a strategic perspective, if we need to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G initiative, whatever they're going to do to make that happen on the detail from a tactical operational perspective, I expect them to plan it to try to minimize the rework as much as possible later on.
Absolutely.
Good answer. You give me an idea. We need to add an acronym aspect to the back of the book so people can kind of get their acronyms down.
Keep up with Beth.
Beth, what was the what was the first acronym?
DIKW, and that's from ITIL.
DIKW?
Yes.
And that's from where?
ITIL, ITIL.
Yeah,
IT Service Management Library.
So remember when Brian said, you may have the same question. Remember I said, I have a question for you. He goes, no, I think I know where you're going, Ken. I have a question. You had me at DIKW. I mean, I was done. All right. So
I can give them all day long, Ken, all day long.
I can see that. Well, to keep the conversation, the strategy, so we don't go to 20 pages, we're supposed to be at 2 pages per person. I'd like to ask something I don't normally ask. Okay. So it's not that I'm not interested in business. I mean, that's why Brian and I did this Checkmate, is because more business is more abundance is more freedom. So the business is the first question. The second question, which I'm very intrigued with specifically by you because of your journey, is one is what is a personal hack, but the backup of that is for the person who's challenged and is kind of in a position maybe where you were. What is a hack to get them out of that quicker? Because and so you're going to get 2 hacks if you want in the book. One hack is for the person who is in your past, and the other one is the hack where you are now, personally.
Keep going forward. Know that there's always a solution and that you can make it through. That solution might not be what it ultimately ends up needing to be, but trust yourself in that moment to make the right decision with the right information that you have today, and have belief and knowledge in that. You'll get through it on the other side. Like I said earlier, there's all these problems and issues that you have to go through. What I have found is, as we all get stressed, we all get overwhelmed with a problem in today's world, whatever it is. And you get hung up and you can overthink and you can worry and through that process, not make an actual decision. But it's like a roller coaster you're coming up to the top of the crest. You're going to go down the other side of that roller coaster. So just hold on for dear life. some decisions will be made for you because you will go down on and safely get out of that roller coaster on the other side. There's always a solution. You can always make it through. Just keep going forward is what I would say.
Okay. And
And
your personal life you apply in life today?
I do actually. With having cancer, that's probably and a stage 4 diagnosis, that's probably as fear factor-ish as you can probably get in life, right? Knowing that that's going to happen, not knowing when it's going to happen, and having the anxiety and angst and problems that goes along with that sort of a diagnosis. And I was always very, very anxious person. Always, it probably goes with my type A personality, I'm sure, and overthinking and all that other stuff. But no, just kidding. Just having that mindset, I went through this kind of journey, and I went to Mexico for about 4 months and worked from home in Mexico at a beach and opened myself up to different things that could happen. Like I didn't try to control tomorrow. And the more I did that, the happier I became. The more I did that, I found that I experienced things that I never thought possible. I did things I never thought I could do before. And I was going exactly where I needed to go in that moment. And so I came away from that with to not be afraid to do the things that the more you do the things that you're afraid to do, the less afraid you become, is really true. And I have found coming back from that, applying that more and more to my life, when problems happen, I have a bigger sense of calmness now that I didn't have before, and bigger sense of I will get through this. I may not like the outcome of it, but I'll still get through it to the other side.
Well, our show is more obviously about you than us, but I feel compelled to share 2 short little things that we can edit out of this thing because this is your show. But I just feel compelled. Number one, I was flying into Baltimore from St. Louis, all kinds of cancellations, all kinds of delays. Mine was delayed a couple hours, and we're flying in the last 30 minutes. I mean, the plane is just like this being thrown. And, people in the plane are thinking, is this it? And I don't think that way. And the reason I don't think that way is because I honestly believe it's God's choice. God has a plan for me. I'm getting through this. It's just a bump. And
that's right.
And so a monk said this, and this is my gift to you, Beth, because even though I don't know you, I feel where you come from. So the monk says, and I'm using this in the strategy book, so you're getting my strategy right now.
I love it.
Do you have a problem? Yes. Can you do something about it? No. Then why worry? Do you have a problem? Yes. Can you do something about it? Yes. Then why worry? Do you have a problem? No. Then why worry? And when you worry and that anxiety you talked about, it's a cortisol buildup. It's a lot of stuff that's working against your wellness. I just want to say, control is never something you can take complete control of, and it causes that anxiety. So
it does.
I just want to applaud you, and I want to segue to one last thing, and then it's fine. Okay, you said you have concept speed, and you said I can see a concept, like I read it, I get it, and I'm done. My question to you that would go in the trivia piece is, what would one read or do to train their conceptual speed? Because I look at it as critical thinking and problem solving skills.
So I'm trying to think about, I'm also a very kinesthetic learner. So I think that just by nature of how I learn is very visual. So for example, in school, I never really did a good job in school paying attention and all that. I would just write notes, and I would visually see what my notes were, so that I wasn't really paying attention to the class, and I'd get to the test part and I would remember exactly where on the page it was visually seeing it. And it was almost like I literally would see the page, and I would remember exactly what it was written, how it was written, where it was written on the page, and be able to just take the test. I never studied for tests, and I'd get A's on the test, but it's because of that. So I think there's some of that is just who I am as a person. So reading, I don't know. I think it's just, let me say this. I had to teach a cybersecurity compliance risk management class to some students in the fall of last year. And I was like, what am I going to do to make this entertaining? This is some boring stuff. How am I going to do this that, some 20-something-year-olds are going to understand and be able to take something away from that? Sure, I can show a risk register on the board and have us fill it out, but who's going to enjoy that? So what I did instead was I went to the store right before the class and I bought a whole bunch of crayons and I got some printer paper and I passed it out. And of course, they looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, okay, what we're going to do, and I wrote on the board, is I want you to draw me a car. And there are 3 things I want it to be. I want it to be fast. I want it to be access controlled, and I want it to be secure, whatever that means. And they all came back and they got really into it, and they were drawing tanks and they were drawing Ferraris and they were drawing this and with little key fobs and all this. And I had them present it. So exercises like that can really help if you draw it out, lay it out, visualize it as well. I think that can help you start thinking about what are the potential impacts.
And not that this question has anything to do with that, but what book changed your life?
Okay, you're going to laugh at me because this is horrible. Maybe it's not horrible. I'm going to own this. Okay. So I have never been very good. You can't see it from here, but I have a whole bunch of books on my bookshelf of nonfiction, self-help, all of those types of books that everybody reads. And I got to be honest, I haven't read any of them. I haven't read any of them because my brain doesn't operate like that. And I struggle to sit down and focus on that. But when I looked at your question, my first answer kept being the same answer. And that was, oh God, The Monster at the End of This Book, starring lovable furry old Grover. And it was a book that my grandmother always read to me, so it has a good memory from that. But the concept of the book is so relevant to this discussion and is basically Grover is afraid of what's at the end of the book. He thinks there's a monster at the end of the book, and he encourages the reader. He starts putting up nails on the page and wood, and he's like, don't turn the page. And the next page, you turn it and he's like, oh my gosh, you turned the page. Oh my God, don't turn the page. If you faster you get there, it's going to be scary. And then at the next pages, he's got rope all over the thing. And he gets to the end of the book and he's like, oh my God, I, lovable furry old Grover, am the monster at the end of this book. And he's like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. All this worry for nothing.
I'll tell you that.
Simple message.
Brian, did she bring it? I mean, she brought it.
She did.
So you have a couple questions. Go ahead, Brian.
You're real quick. Okay. So the great book. So what's the great movie that really comes to life for you?
G.I. Jane.
Never quit.
That's right.
All righty. I like it because she would not roll over. Yeah, exactly.
No, she kept going no matter what.
That's
what
right.
punches were literally thrown at her.
That was Demi, right? Demi Moore?
Yes.
Yeah.
Demi Moore.
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
I was say, okay, so tied to that, G.I. Jane, what about your hero? Either real life hero that you'd want to go to, stop what you're doing to go meet, or a superhero that just reminds you of the way you want to be every day.
I'm gonna do superhero Wonder Woman, and in fact, she's a lot of my employees in the past have called me Wonder Woman as a nickname. And in fact, I had a team at a company that we all had to have superhero names, and everybody, if a new person was hired, they had to select their superhero names. And my team selected Wonder Woman for me, and it kind of sucked. So, yeah, Wonder Woman.
Got it. Okay.
Who's the person you'd want to meet if you could meet anybody?
Ooh.
Oh, come on now. We sent you that question.
Oh, no, that's not on that. No.
Who's your hero? Who's your hero, right?
Yeah, Wonder Woman's her hero, but you'd ask who would she want to meet if she had to stop what she
Which is another hero, by the way. That's just
Probably Oprah, because I'm always using like her memes at work. And I think, you get a thing and you get a thing and you get a thing.
All right, just one second. Yeah, Oprah, Beth said she'd like to meet you. All right.
And probably Ellen.
I'll tell you, the masterminds, that is the most mimicked piece of a mastermind. I'm going to give you a gift and you get
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
get a gift and you
Okay.
if I
The
have a little bit
last,
more to time to think about it, I might have a different answer, but I think those like
And by the way, if you do, you can change it in the book, because as a
okay,
strategy, the number one strategy we have in the book is make the chapter better. So whatever you come up with, all right?
perfect. Thank you. Appreciate
and the
that.
last quote or the last question is, what is the quote that you use daily or that you live by?
So there's a lot of quotes that I use, but the one that I come back to that I apparently made up is that you can't boil the ocean, only one pot at a time.
That's a good one.
Thank
Hmm.
you.
And I was just about to go
That
down.
means you'll never be out of work.
Exactly.
You're saving Brian and I a lot of time, because we were like, we're going to boil the ocean before we get this book out. And I was like,
That's right.
that's a good. So how can people follow you, connect with you?
Obviously LinkedIn, Beth Leonard. I have a bunch of acronyms behind. One is not doctor though, for sure, behind my name. But and then I also have the Facebook blog, Living with Neuroendocrine Cancer, and of course here at R3, r3-it.com.
Great. Well, I'd like to connect you to a couple people based on the wonderful interview we just had. And I hope you nominate some people that you find to be appropriate for this Checkmate.
I would love to.
All right.
Thank you for letting me be part of this. This is amazing.
You know what I think your number one strategy is?
Mhm.
People loving the fact that you're so vulnerable. You're an extremely lovable person, because you say, this is who I am. This is what I mean, I got to tell you, had I known that you didn't read the books, I would have said, geez, I would have gotten the wallpaper just so that the books just.
Absolutely.
I bet that
Well,
answer surprised you, didn't it?
It was
Yeah.
awesome. And by the way, I'm going to get the Grover book, because that is a phenomenal. I've never heard about this book. And this actually, to the point of the show, you could have someone like Beth recommend that book, and either a child reads it or an adult reads it, and they say, I'm the monster. They get the fact that that's who we always are. We're the worst enemy we can always be. And
Yeah.
it's all a waste, right?
And so many people have things like imposter syndrome or what have you, and just it's boiled down to its basic form, easy to digest.
Yes. Well, Beth,
Absolutely.
what a pleasure. And
Yeah.
Brian, I got to get on these planes that you're meeting all these people.
I'm telling you, we were across from the aisle from each other. We talked a little bit because I had to get an app. She had to listen to some whatever she was listening to, and then she had the shortest Uber ride to her conference I've ever seen. She booked a hotel conference that was in the airport.
That's really good.
So it was awesome. But
Beth,
and then we kept up with you for a week or two while she was traveling a little bit, and I invited her on, and Beth, you actually gave us more than I thought. Just the initial conversation and learning you over the last couple of weeks. I thought a great story.
And I guess
so. Thanks again.
I guess to go full circle on our beginning, you made my day greater.
And when you were talking to me about some stuff towards the end of that, I took a deep breath. When you were telling me your story, I took a deep breath and I let go of a lot of my angst. It was a reminder for myself to be able to remind myself that I'm going to get through the stress of the day. And I actually felt a lot better after that. And I'm really glad that we went through this session together today. So thank you.
So,
well, thanks again,
audience, follow Beth, celebrate her. If you know people like Beth, connect them to her, but also bring them to the show. All right. Absolutely. You have listened to another wonderful Checkmate strategy podcast, and we look forward to the book coming out so you can actually really enjoy a better life using these strategies.
Thank you.